昔ある人間と賭けをしたの。その人は死んだけど、私はその人のパツルって名前をもらったわ。闇に抱かれながら黙っててちょうだい。もう待ちきれないのかしら。楽しい時間になるわ。夢破りの境界に落ちなさい。これが深淵に落ちていく感覚なのかしら。
いいぞ若いの。これは正しい道を進んでいる証拠だ。
私は強い。
そう、強いんだぞ。
悪は切る。剣舞と作戦。それはそれ、これはこれ。
はは、早くイベント式か。早く。
K は神速を問う。
So, pretty interesting pair of characters we got this time. So, welcome back everybody. Today we're talking about the Towa and Patsyr patch that came out on the Chinese server early in January. We're expecting this one to come out global side in June or so. And of course today I'm joined with Frontier as always.
Howdy.
And our guest today is Straw, who not only is one of the players who has consistently made it pretty high in Apex Arena. He made it to top 16 in Season 4, and he's done pretty well in other seasons as well. He's also pretty well known as one of the main organizers behind the Summit der Wikigrisser fan tournament, which many of you have probably heard of or possibly even participated in before. So thank you for joining us, Straw.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Alright, so let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right into it and talk about Towa. So Towa is sort of long awaited by Tensei players, or people who have played Wikigrisser Tensei, all 5 of us. Towa is a DPS unit that has a sword or flyer class, but she is, I think, a little bit similar to Lamford, where she is not completely focused as a damage unit. She's sort of a support unit. She can give a stat aura, and she can give things like fixed damage immunity. She can prevent people from being pushed around. She can give cooldown reduction, and she can actually transfer buffs from herself onto her allies. Very interesting, because you can use it to transfer things like attack blessing or gospel. And she can also pierce guard, but it's very conditional. So, Straw, I've been hearing some mixed opinions about Towa. Some people think she looks very disappointing. I think she looks really good, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I also think she's very good. It's just that I'm a little confused about her long cost skill.
Okay.
Tactical Device, which is supposed to copy 3 of your dispellable buffs onto an ally unit. So, I guess it's randomized?
Yes.
Right.
It's pretty much randomized, and in the test stage they actually gave for Towa, they gave you a gospel unit, so you can just see that she can transfer all 3 of those buffs, the attack, defense, and the immunity to debuffs, all to one other unit. So yeah, if you're trying to transfer a faction buff or something, you just kind of have to pray you get the right ones onto the other unit.
Yeah.
So usually when you want to use this, is you probably should do it early on before you faction buffed. You put on attack blessing or you put on gospel, and you just immediately transfer it from Towa onto this other person, and you already have it on 2 people. I mean, I guess if you do that, the thing some people noticed about Towa immediately is that if you have her in her flyer class, she can have 10 movement. She can move 5. She can transfer buffs, which moves her 2 spaces again. And then she can move another 3 spaces with her 3 cost skill. So that gives her a very large striking range. But if you use the buff transfer purely for just moving a buff onto someone, then obviously you're not using it to move to get closer to your opponent.
Right. I mean, it does give you an option, which is nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the focus on Towa is definitely her 3 cost skill, this buff transfer skill, and her guard pierce skill, Dominant Strike, which says if she has a faction buff special effect, so basically the extra effect, she can attack first, and if the opponent does not have this special effect, then you cannot guard against this attack.
Yeah, that's a super interesting skill, right? Because you kind of don't want the faction buff if you want to guard ignore.
Well, it's if she has a faction buff, she will attack first. If the opponent has no faction buff,
it's the opponent.
Yeah, they won't be able to guard against it.
Okay.
The way I see it is some people think, oh, this just means you need to be a little more careful and pick ban, but I don't think this is actually necessarily true, because sometimes at the tail end of your faction buff, it's gonna drop for that one turn. if you faction buff in the wrong order, or if you have to move your healer for some reason before your faction buffer on the last turn of that faction buff, that means you give Towa that window, just that one window she needs to just come in and kill your healer.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but that's also having the mindset of your playstyle. It becomes a stall game.
Okay, Straw knows that I am, like, I guess I'm a little bit infamous now among some players, is that I am a very annoying stall player. And for that same reason, I guess, like, when I look at Towa, I'm a little bit more attracted to her sword class, because I kind of feel like her flyer class is definitely nice for that long range striking ability. But I'm looking at her sword class, and it's bulkier. You equip bulkier soldiers on it, and you can just sort of like bide your time until you're ready to guard pierce with her. And she of course stands around being a stat totem until then.
Okay.
I guess Straw, like, do you have any thoughts on the flyer versus infantry thing?
I think most people will use flyer for sure, just because there's no disadvantage when it comes to attacking. Infantry, you're definitely limited sometimes.
I think what the thing about infantry is that you just equip the new Lancer soldiers on her, and she will lose the cavalry disadvantage when she's attacking, because those Lancer soldiers apply to the entire unit. So Towa can the hero attack will also deal full damage to a cavalry.
Yeah, but I do think that most people prefer the flyer. Not saying that infantry is bad. It's just that when you're given a choice between like a flyer and like an infantry, for example like Ares, you get the movement, no disadvantage. I think people just prefer that more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for the most part. I mean, even for me, like, I use flyer Matthew, I don't use infantry Matthew, because I do know, like, the extra movement, the no class disadvantage is just a huge boon. But I was just saying that I think in Towa's case, she does have those Lancer soldiers to mitigate that somewhat. And the other thing is that Towa's skills kind of lean her to be a little bit more tanky. Her talent does give her extra defense for buffs that she has, and when she has her 3-cost skill active, she actually gets damage reduction on her soldiers. So she can become very, very tanky. Although, like, I guess the fear these days, as far as assassins go, or at least on the Chinese servers now, is like, it's usually either Bloodthirster Zerda, Sigma, maybe Omega. All three of them ignore soldiers, so I don't know if that the physical damage reduction on her soldiers is really going to help her in that case.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because I think mostly you want to use her as like an assassin, right?
Yeah.
She's like, mobility does help a lot, and I think her viability will come down to her being able to kill things. So we'll have to see. She does get free rag, right?
Oh yeah, she can rag.
Or she does have the 3C, which gives fixed damage before battle.
Yeah, you don't need rag anyway, because she already does fixed damage with the 3-cost skill.
Or you can double fixed damage, I think.
You could also just use Scarlet Reaper, because that would just give her extra damage bonus after the fixed damage.
Yeah.
And Towa would need that, because Towa actually, she is an attack boost character in her talent. She has very, very few damage mods. Her one Dominant Strike has damage plus 10%, and that's only if you have tons of buffs.
That's not enough. Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah, so I think maybe, like, if you're just using her as an assassin, I guess maybe like Meteor Enchant or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Although I guess most people still stick to Breeze, because Breeze OP.
Yeah, too many Breeze characters, not enough scrolls.
Yeah, I think people stick to Breeze or Rough Sea maybe. Yeah, I mean, she's an interesting unit though, just because the Ignore Guard skill has a condition on it, which is interesting. I feel like they nerfed assassins, and they're kind of bringing just like regular units into like a assassin role now. I think that's what they're trying to do.
They nerfed crit assassins, I guess.
Yeah, crit assassins.
Yeah, and right now, like, because right now the popular assassins are the non-crit ones, which are Sigma and arguably Zerda. I mean, Zerda does need her crit, but she can sometimes Bloodthirster is good enough to kill stuff even without that.
Unless they're like super bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they nerfed the crit assassins, and then tanks are way too strong, so they're bringing in a lot of units that can ignore guard now. That's not assassin class, I guess. So there's Towa, there's Mario's gonna come in, also Patsyr.
Oh yeah, Patsyr. Yeah, Tensei. Yeah, Tensei getting pretty OP here. they got.
Yeah.
They're getting all the shiny new units. Well, so I mean, right now they're only releasing Tensei units and OC Donut Steel units. Like that's been what they've been releasing for like the past 4 or 5 months or something. Aside from the collabs, of course. And
Yeah.
I guess on that note, Towa is a long-awaited addition to the Origins faction. I know this will make a couple people happy. I know a couple Origins players.
Yeah, Origin's not bad because you always have Juggler. I don't think he's kicked out of the box yet.
I mean, Origins has Juggler, but like Juggler bringing faction buff, like it's not like Landius bringing faction buff. It hurts him a lot. And
Yeah, it hurts him a bit. I do bring it time to time.
Yeah.
If I have enough Origins in my picks. Or if I'm desperately in need of faction buff, I definitely bring it. So it's not too bad.
So right here, I think it's really important to note. It was kind of hard to tell this from the description of the skill, because sometimes Zlong words their skills in a very confusing way. I need to point out that the second part of Dominant Strike, which pierces guard, is actually an also effect. So she needs to have a faction buff special effect to attack first. I think everybody understood that. That was pretty clear to everybody. But the second part that says, if the opponent does not have a faction buff special effect, then this attack cannot be guarded against. This is something that only happens if you already satisfied the first part of that sentence. In other words, you need to satisfy both requirements for her to pierce guard with Dominant Strike. She needs to both have a faction buff on herself, and the target needs to have no faction buff on them. So this means a couple things. First, it means Towa is kind of similar to Florentia, where even without the faction buff, she can be pretty good. But if you get her a faction buff, it almost completely changes the way you would be playing her. And of course, as we alluded to earlier, like this factors a lot into your pick ban as well. You need to pick ban in a way so that their healer does not get a faction buff, or whatever it is you're trying to assassinate doesn't have a faction buff. And of course, this also means that Freya cannot be used as a buffer for Towa if you want to get all these special effects from Dominant Strike. Which I think a lot of people would agree is actually kind of a big problem. Right.
Right.
But yeah, so Straw, anything else you think worth bringing up about Towa?
Oh, no. I think her skill set's pretty simple compared to Patsyr. I think Patsyr has a lot more versatility in her kit.
Alright, Frontier,
So-
any thoughts here?
Because I realized I just stopped doing PvP, but definitely a cool looking unit.
Hey, you don't have to. We don't have to talk about just about PvP. It's like,
I do like her robot Pegasus though. It's nice.
oh, the little robot like cat or whatever.
Yes.
Oh no,
her
Pegasus. Okay, yeah.
The Pegasus.
Her Pegasus is
Yeah,
is like a robot. Yeah.
Mecha. It's nice.
The little robot cat she has actually talks when she attacks and stuff.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, then I might get her.
For PvE, Towa would be really nice in Jormungandr though, because you can just put up her fixed damage immunity and just ignore all those fixed damage ticks that Jormungandr puts on you.
Yeah, the 3C the choice is pretty nice though. I do like having choices depending on the
that's really
situation.
great.
So.
Yeah, it's both offensive and defensive. That's one thing I like about Towa. She's quite flexible. She can adapt into different strategies.
Yeah, I just think it's just gonna come down to her kill potential.
Yeah,
I
think that is a problem for her because she is like her attack boost is only 20%, well, quote unquote only 20%. She doesn't have. She does get the stat boost from her 3-cost skill as well, but her soldier boost is 30%, which is not super high, which is not the highest. Her attack is kind of in the medium range as well, so she is like, they definitely balanced her to be like, she's not like crazy offensive.
Yeah, I think her kill potential is similar to Angelina.
Okay.
Because Angelina, you get like 20% attack boost, and then she doesn't really have damage buff. And yeah, Angelina does miss a lot of kills. So yeah, I think it's going to be similar when it comes to kill potential.
So I guess we can talk about Patsyr now. Patsyr is, definitely this one of the strangest characters they've ever added. This is a very, very gimmicky character. So, Patsyr is, I mean, people keep calling her the Simp Slayer.
Yes.
she just damages.
Shout out to you, Nitro.
She she gets powered up anytime she's fighting any non-female heroes. Okay, this is actually the first thing I want to point out. It is not male characters that she damages. It is non-female characters. So, you know, like if they ever add like robot characters, you know, characters like, I guess,
Juggler.
You know, like, well, Juggler is in the context of the game is like he's like quote unquote canonically male. Like
yeah, I was figuring like he's like a beast.
Yeah,
instead.
like
well.
Ainz, you know, Ainz is a freaking skeleton.
Oh, you're right.
And,
yeah.
You know, so they still get affected by Patsyr because she gets, you know, all kinds of bonuses against non-female heroes. It's actually kind of crazy. Like if she didn't have this non-female clause, she would be absolutely busted. But she does. So we can talk about, like, I guess I'll just list off a couple of things she can do. First off, her talent, you know, she gets intelligence and reduces damage taken when she's fighting anything that's not a female. Her 3-cost skill, when she dies, she actually inflicts passive block on everybody that's not female on the entire map, and this can't be dispelled. And I'm pretty sure this is an infinite duration. Like this does not have a duration listed because it lasts forever. She has a guard pierce. If the target is not female, she has a spell that's kind of similar to sleep that works on units that are not female. It's kind of crazy. I guess I should also list the exceptions. The second part of her talent, which says like which increases the odds of being critically hit, and also can stun opponents if she hits them twice. This works on all units. It works on female units as well. And you know, the active portion of her 3-cost skill, which does some fixed damage, that also works on any unit. It doesn't have to be non-female. So she does. So I think even against non-female units, she does still can be decent. But she definitely really shines when you meet that requirement and you're just doing all kinds of crazy effects on the non-female heroes. I don't know. What do you think, Straw?
Yeah, I agree. I think she's viable. I mean, she has sleep. She also, like the second part of her talent, I think if you do something like you bring 2 AoE skills, and then you AoE and then act again AoE at the end of your turn, you stun the whole team, right?
Yes, but that's only if they have no cleanser, because it's actually not as good as it might seem when you scan read it. Because okay, so first when she hits something first, she inflicts like this stacking buff called fatigued, cause them to get critical hit more, and if it stacks twice, it will become hypnotized, which means which is basically they're stunned. But notice that it says hypnotized at the end of the unit's next turn. So she hits them twice and they have 2 stacks of fatigue. They have to end their turn and then they get hypnotized.
Oh, they have to end their turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise it'll be too powerful.
Yeah, that would be absolutely nuts. Like if you could just like do 2.
If you're P2, if you're P2, you just use your last and move twice. Yeah. And stun the whole team. That'll be that's pretty OP.
I mean, if you ban out like Liana, ban out Rosen, you pick Patsyr, it can still be pretty annoying. Especially if you get like, you know, if you combine her with other debuffers, because you know they're not necessarily going to get rid of the fatigue debuff if you're also adding like Bozo casting Black Hole and stuff. Yeah. And of course she's meant to be run in a dark box, I think, alongside all the other cancer units that we know and love.
Yep. Yeah, they're still adding a lot of debuffs. I mean, they added quite a few counters.
Yeah,
already.
We just got Kruger on the Chinese server. You know, Kruger's pretty crazy. And this is just like, I think she's definitely like a 3rd or 4th pick kind of character after you've picked your core debuff characters.
Yeah, she's definitely a good unit, but there are 2 things. Most likely you're going to run her demon, right? Because the stats. Or both of them demons? Or is one of them assassin?
I would. I mean, it's like with any other demon / other class unit. It's like you run her as demon if you think you can afford the holy weakness. I actually would run her as the assassin instead, because if you want to assassinate a healer or something, there's like a lot of them are holy class, and
Yeah, definitely. I think assassin's better. Looking at the stats, it's not too bad. 550 intelligence.
yeah.
Also, to point out, it's a magic assassin.
Yeah, this is the
which is a first.
Yes, this is the first magic assassin in the game. It is. I mean, of course, it's a conditional assassin, but that's still. I mean, people have joked in the past that if they had an intelligence assassin, that would be totally busted. Well, here it is.
Oh no.
Yeah. The only problem is that there's like no backstab. You do have to attack from full.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any like damage boost except for the skill. But she does get 30 intelligence and 20% from the attack, so it should kill, I think.
Yeah, and I guess you could always use Star if you really need the fixed damage.
Oh yeah. That also helps as well. Yeah, super situational. Yeah, I think most of the time you want to run her as assassin. If your opponent's picking a lot of male heroes, you can pick her up.
Yeah, that's the thing when I look at Patsyr. Is like when I first saw her, I was just like, this unit is either going to be incredibly busted or totally useless. It's like she's one of those characters where I mean I know a couple people who run gimmicky all female boxes. They like their waifu boxes. So if you bring Patsyr into waifu wars, she's gonna lose probably. In ladder, I don't think you need to worry about that too much. You're probably not going to run into the waifu box that often. There's only a handful of players who do that. And in playoffs, I think at worst she is really good in the side box.
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, I don't even think she can kill Reen either. There's just not enough damage, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a transform ring with like steel wings or
steel
wings or even Highlanders. I mean, you can. I mean, assassinating with sorceresses can be pretty strong. But yeah, I mean, Reen has so much DR. Like I've seen Reen survive fireballs before. It's really crazy. So
yeah. If Reen's on defensive terrain, it's really hard to kill because the steel wings become lobsters basically.
Yeah,
up to 50% damage.
I mean, I saw a Reen with Highlanders survive a fireball before. It was just really crazy. I was just like, wow.
Interesting.
I think there was a wind wall in there, but it's still crazy to me that he could survive a fireball.
Yeah, if wind wall procs too, that's crazy too.
Yeah,
he's super tanky.
Yeah,
super annoying.
But even if you don't go for the assassin route, I actually think Patsyr can be a decent choice. She has Dark Sight, she has a number of single target attacks, but of course you probably need to be fighting one of the male tanks. I don't think she's going to be doing very much to Hilda or Freya.
Well, that's the thing too though, because even though she has like a Sight is obviously one of the best skills I think for a mage, but she doesn't have any damage bonus, so her damage is not going to be that strong.
Okay.
Kind of like Bozol. Bozol's intelligence is super high, but his Sight is really weak because he doesn't have any damage bonus. Yeah, I think it's going to be similar. But her troop probably gets 35-40% though, probably.
35. Yeah, it's
35.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I would
nice.
compare more to someone like Noemi. Like Noemi does not have damage boost. Noemi has intelligence boost in her talent, and Noemi can hit pretty hard.
she has 20% from 3C.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, so she gets some. She gets both intelligence and damage boost. So
She doesn't have sight though.
yeah. If she has sight, I think she'll be pretty nice.
Yeah, and she has scythe, she has fireball and lightning, so she has a couple choices for single target as well. And she also has a 1-cost skill that gives her like basically Elwyn's like HP recovery talent when fighting non-female heroes. So you can also give her like some decent sustain from using that as well.
Yeah.
I guess one final minor thing I guess I'll mention is that the last time I checked, her assassin class cannot wear mage armor, or so if you use her in assassin, you have to use like you're gonna use last rites anyway. You'll probably use like King's Crown or something, but you cannot use Tenyo's headdress and stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sad.
Although, like, you can't equip wands in her assassin class, of course. It would be pretty funny if they didn't put that exception in, because then she would just be stuck with a bunch of like daggers and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be pretty scary if your whole team's a male, because you have last rights, damage taken 30%, so you're 70% reduction.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the memes that will appear.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of male characters, this character seems really scary. All right. Any thoughts here, Frontier, on the Simp Slayer?
No. Are we going to show a picture of her Echo of Light skin that Nitro so very much likes?
Oh, yes. Nitro has been putting out several announcements about how he's going to wail for her. You know,
he's going to wail. He's the simp.
Nitro's going to stop being a budget player just for Patsyr.
And all due respect, I completely agree. It's a very nice skin. I'll have to see if my budget allows it, but I definitely want to summon on this banner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you never summon for anything.
I know, I just wait for Destiny banners.
Yeah. Alright, so Straw, do you have any, like, plans ahead for what you think your box might look like by Season 7 or whatever?
For this season, yeah, I think I have a decent idea where I want to go, but...
Okay. I'm guessing you're not going to reveal your secrets?
Not this far, yeah. I mean, not this far.
Okay, not
this far.
Okay.
Yeah, not Towa or Patsyr.
Okay. Do you think you would be interested in using one of them?
I think I'll pull, but I don't think I'm gonna go a lot. Probably just one each would be nice. If I don't get them, then I think that's fine as well.
Alright. So now we can talk about Bernhardt, which this Bernhardt got his 3-cost skill finally, which I think is long awaited for a lot of people. A lot of people like Bernie. Bernie's 3-cost comes at the tail end of just a ton of buffs that Empire has been getting one after the other, and this is sort of the cherry on top. Bernie is a faction buffer for the Empire faction, and he's back in style with a 3-cost faction buff, which is the first time they've done this.
Right.
I think it has some interesting implications for it does open up some interesting options for future 3-cost skills. Although RIP in peace, Ultimator, you're not going to get a 3-cost skill faction buff. This 3-cost skill is really, really crazy, I think. I think people have already seen a couple videos being posted of Bernhardt just nearly one-shotting Landius with a normal attack and stuff.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, first off, you got this faction buff, which is just damage dealt plus 18%, which is higher than any other faction buff I think we've had up to this point. I think Ares' faction buff can actually cap higher than this, but that requires 4 enemies around you. But yeah, Bernhardt's is a very simple enter battle, damage dealt plus 18%. Only downside here, you can't work with AoEs, so not good for Leonhardt or Vincent. A lot of the AoE Empire characters.
Oh, so it's a single target.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
This is a single target buff, but it's pretty crazy. And Bernhardt, in addition, gives him all kinds of crazy buffs. Yeah, he gives himself 1 movement, 15% more damage. Sword Dance span gets bigger. Shield Bash gets +1 range. And if he has Iron Fist equipped, he actually gets physical damage taken -25%. So they made him into a viable physical tank. If you really, really want to go that route, you could actually first pick Burn as as your tank if you really, really want to.
Right.
Nice.
Or you can just put him in there, and then if you need a tank, you can pick him up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Burn is now a lot more flexible. His tanking option is a lot more viable now. So you could just picking him is sort of a threat to your opponent. It's like I pick Burn first. You can give me my Empire tanks if you want Burn to be really dangerous. But if you ban my my Empire tanks and force Burn to be my tank, then you're giving me all these different Empire DPS. And
that's scary.
Yeah, we've already seen that. And Burn is really crazy. And because this has a passive portion, which is basically Sword's Breath, lets him do a 1-ring AOE after attacking. He can do things he can one-shot SP Elwyn. He will attack him, kill him, and then he will do the Sword's Breath attack, which finishes him off.
Wait, what breath? What?
A sword's breath. You know how like when Leonhard teleports, he gets the sword's breath AOE after the next time.
Yeah. So it's not a fixed damage. It's like a after effect AOE.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does the sword's breath AOE 0.1 times damage, so it's a very weak AOE.
Right.
But Elwyn revives with like 1 HP, so.
Yeah.
But but this does mean like if you bring this 3-cost skill alongside sword dance, you are doing double rupture.
Yeah, double rupture. If you have
one question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What about the sword? The sword that expands. Bounce blade.
Yeah. If you bring balance blade, you'll do a 3-ring sword dance, and then you'll do a 3-ring sword dance. You'll rupture, and then you'll do the passive portion, which will become a 2-ring attack, and then rupture.
I'm scared.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Or if you bring blood sword, it will be a lot of fixed damage.
Oh yeah, blood sword. Well. I mean, I think it was Tao Li. He posted like a dumb gimmick video where Byrne was equipped like arcane battle garb, Thor's necklace, and blood sword, and Byrne was doing like 5 or 6 different fixed damage attacks at the end of his after attacking.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think that'll be very useful practically, but it's just really funny to see. It is interesting that they gave him like a boost to basically every single skill he can use, but of course, if you bring 3-cost skill, you can only bring one of them. I think it's basically almost always going to be either Sword Dance or Iron Fist. I don't see a lot of use for a 2-range Shield Bash. Do you have any?
I think someone like War, he uses Burn still. Player War. I do see him bringing Shield Bash a lot. Okay. So maybe he'll like it.
I mean, I can see Shield Bash being useful right now, like when, or if you have someone else faction buffing, because then you can have Rupture, Sword Dance, and Shield Bash or something like that. But for this, it's like you have to bring this faction buff itself. So you are forced into
one option.
Yeah, you only have one option for the 2-cost skill.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said though, single target damage would be really nice as well, because he has 20% increase in talent and also 3C, extra 15% and 18%, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, burn single target damage has become really nuts with this buff. Even without having, he doesn't even have an attack skill. He obviously has Shield Bash, but it's 1 times damage. So he doesn't have any attacks that actually increase his damage dealt, but he still can still kill people in 1 hit using that. And of course he has really, really good troops. He has he has his the ones he's always has. He has the new Lancer Soldiers, which allows him to hit cavalry units without a problem. He has the werewolves. That's what it was. The werewolves are actually really, really strong.
Oh right, they're very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually has undead knights, which are okay, but I think werewolves are kind of like, in many cases, are just like a kind of a power creep over undead knight. He has Scorpion, which kind of an overlooked troop, but I guess if you are one of the weirdos that actually train those, they're actually pretty good.
They are pretty good. They're bandits with cav tech, which is nice.
And the Scorpions have infantry movement instead of cav movement, so they don't like reduce Byrne's mobility. Right. Ooh,
they're pretty nice.
Okay, Frontier, any thoughts here? With the scary return of the Empire. The Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, that's a good title. I never got my Byrne that strong. So I only used him for like the faction buff in the early games. So it's more of like I'm gonna have to put a bunch of investment to see him become really good. But to anybody else, you actually stuck with it, and here you go, some rewards.
I mean, there's a lot of people that like the Empire faction. There's already starting to be a lot of videos where people are playing Empire faction. First pick Byrne. Leon's in there.
I went strategist.
I think
it's all-time middle.
I think Empire was already getting a lot of buzz, but this, wow, I think this is definitely a huge boost because Empire faction buffs were, I guess, kind of difficult to come by. You had Rosensteel, of course. Leon with the faction buff sometimes is like kind of he loses a lot of range, and So Bernhardt making a comeback, definitely very, very helpful for Empire. Alright, so I guess we can talk about Emerick next. So Emerick's always been one of those characters that's kind of an off-meta choice that's viable, but only really used by gimmicky players. And I think this sort of continues in that trend. Emerick's 3-cost skill is it increases. I think the main thing here is that it increases his striking range. Like, that's the biggest advantage of this. It does give him a couple interesting buffs to his allies. He can either make someone else a mini Emerick, or he can give someone the ability to cleanse a bunch of debuffs from themselves and heal themselves. So both pretty useful skills, but I do think it's the move again after usage that is a huge. That's a huge boon for Emerick, because he had a problem with reaching the enemy. He only could move 5 blocks. Any thoughts here, Straw?
Yeah, they look good on paper, but if you actually use them, I don't think it'll be very good, because correct me if I'm wrong, but smokescreen is only 1 block, right?
Yes.
So that means it's not 1 ring. So if you have like a cross formation,
yeah,
every unit next to your tank, you cannot disable guard, right? Because it's 1 block.
Yeah, but if you're in a cross formation, that means that Emerick himself will be able to disable your guard.
Right. Emerick himself won't be able to, but I mean, he'll be in the back. His mobility's not that good, like you said. So he's gonna give this to someone like, let's say, like Elwyn or something. So Elwyn can go in and try to disable guard and then also damage the tank or something like that. But it's just that, yeah, if you're in cross formation, it just doesn't work. So because it's kind of like a B-Shock, right?
Yeah, it's like B-Shock. I mean, I'm just thinking of like situations where maybe like if I was fighting against Emerick and I had to sort of fan out my team to make sure my tank could still guard people without Emerick disrupting me. I just think this opens up options where I can, have one of my other units next to their tank, and maybe Emerick comes in, puts the buff on them, and then can kill someone. Or if they get into a cross formation, to protect themselves from that, then Emerick himself will just run in. So it just gives them a few more options to disable.
You know what it is? We're just like thinking about different things. You're probably imagining yourself in the middle, like 2 tanks, whereas I'm imagining myself sniping the Emerick because he can't reach.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So.
Well. Anytime I've played against you, I'm pretty sure I've lost. So I think viewers should probably listen to your opinion over mine.
But I mean, if you guys are like both tank push in the middle, Emerick could be a problem, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot kill him off. So, and the second skill is actually a worse version of Gospel, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess it's like Gospel in some ways. I want to say it's a little bit like Desperate Prayer from Wheeler.
Yeah, it is. But it's only 15% HP though, right?
Yeah. So restore up to 60% life if you and you have to get rid of 4 debuffs. So like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
there's like a condition there, and also I would rather have a unit protected from debuffs. So what if you get silenced? You can't really.
Yeah. What if you're silenced? If you're buff blocked? Yeah. Like this. I think this skill, like the second part of the skill, is kind of. It sounds nice, but it's like there's so many situations where it won't work the way you want it to.
It's nice, but not nice enough to be a 3C in my opinion.
That's why I said like probably the biggest advantage of this is the fact that Emerick can move 3 blocks after using it. So Frontier, you've ever used Emerick before?
No, only annoyance is when he's in the joint battle thing on that one map.
Oh yes, the one joint battle, yeah.
Yeah, but now I just use assassins on it, so he doesn't exist.
That Emerick is so annoying because he has heavy shield equipped.
Oh yes.
When I first did that map, like he kept activating heavy shield, and I was just like, God, I hate this guy.
Yeah. Just use Omega, get past it.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a okay 3-cost, but yeah, I think Emerick probably needed something better than this. I mean, it's always weird that they give SR units like middling 3-cost skills. I understand that they don't want to overpower SR characters sometimes, but he was like between being good and being bad, and he needed something pretty good to push him over to being good again. And I don't think this is it.
Yeah, I don't think this is it. Yeah, people are kind of memeing with Emerick back in like season 1, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really viable right now. I mean, there's some meme strategies you can do with Tensei Jessica.
Yeah, teleport Emerick in and then attack someone.
Yeah, but that's very meme. So you can do that, but I think that's like the only use I can see in like a actual competitive box.
So finally we got oh my god, it's Kuwabara. Kuwabara got his 3-cost skill, and it is I actually think it's a really strong 3-cost skill. It gives him.
You think so?
He's both Layden and Landius at the same time, but the problem is that he's Kuwabara. What do you think, Straw?
Well, I mean, just because it's a normal attack and it has to be in melee range, is he really going to attack into different units though? He's more like a tank, right? So I think it works more like a Layden's Talon, right?
Yeah, it's like Layden plus Landius. He can both attack twice in melee, and he can counterattack 2 range attacks.
Yeah. So pretty good tank, I guess, damage wise.
I mean, it's like I said, it's like I think it is actually a really strong 3-cost, but it's just like it's freaking Kuwabara. This is not good enough. He needed a 3-cost skill like on the level of like, I don't know, like freaking Hilda's 3-cost skill or something.
Yeah, not too much experience with him. So
I think he's supposed to be like a DPS off tank sort of character, where because his guards, none of his guards have passive guard, and his conversion from attack to defense is on one of his guards. So I think the idea is that sometimes he's usually like sort of a DPS, and then when you need him to tank, he puts up his guard skill, he converts ideally his very high attack into some decent defense, and he can tank while that's still up. But it's like, I mean, first off, when they gave us a Kuwabara in Fair Arena, if he used that skill, his defense actually went down because his attack wasn't high enough. So even when Zlong gives us a pre-made Kuwabara, he doesn't work properly. The other thing is, like, he is not a good DPS because his soldier attack boost is 10%. So it's like, you know, they tried to make him like this weird tank DPS hybrid, and he just kind of sucks at both of them.
Yeah, I think I met Kuwabara like twice in Apex before. But
the fact that you met him twice is like the one Doofenshmirtz meme. It's weird to have him twice. I had a nickel for every time I saw a Kuwabara in Apex Arena. The
one person I know who used Kuwabara at one point was, I think it was Kai. And Kai is well known for being like a huge like a meme player. He runs with all kinds of weird off-meta choices. And even for him, I think like he was just like experimenting with Kuwabara in one of the TSDLs. I don't think he used them long term or anything like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know he has Meteor, so he's like the only Meteor tank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is Juggler, but yeah, he is.
Juggler.
When I play with only freebie characters, when I try to play some of the challenges with only freebie characters, Kuwabara does offer some interesting things. So yeah, I mean, I think Kuwabara has some interesting gimmicks, like when compared to other free units, like SR units. But yeah, I mean, if you're actually trying to use him seriously, he still has too many problems. Like this I don't think this really solves a lot of the fundamental problems that Kuwabara had.
Right. Especially use case out of the box, so
yeah.
You can't really trigger his thing unless you have a female.
Well,
which is not really an issue. But...
yeah, it's usually not an issue.
But that's just one less faction buffer and one thing that could, I guess, buff your unit.
Yeah, and I guess that comes at the same time as Patsyr, and Patsyr will ignore, like if Kuwabara is surrounded by a bunch of women, Patsyr can't do anything to the women, but he's gonna hurt Kuwabara really hard.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, they had to give him 3C, so I guess they just thought of something.
They like drew straws. It's like, we got it. We got to design the Kuwabara 3-cost. Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts here, Frontier?
No.
Okay. It's okay, Kuwabara. You at least we can still use you for a lot of funny meme faces by taking screen caps from the anime. That's what that's what he's good for. I guess we can talk about the exclusive now. So this time they added Noemi and Malaria's exclusive equipment. You got first you got Noemi. Noemi is it's a pretty nice hat. Like it doesn't do anything. It's not like some crazy exclusives where they almost add an entire new talent on the exclusive. This just like boosts Noemi's skills a little bit. People with her magic clothes buff will heal some HP and dispel 1 debuff at the end of their turn, and she also gets 1 extra charge on her 3 cost. So yeah, just a nice boost all around, but nothing crazy, I think.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I kind of predicted she would just get +1 to the her 3C, which is nice though. After using her, having that 1 extra turn is really nice. And it's going to help you to sustain until you can use it again as well. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy like you said. It's just, yeah, it's nice to have. But I mean, that's her final upgrade, so I don't know where she's gonna go from here.
SP Noemi.
Yeah. But that's probably gonna be in like 5 years, 10 years.
Oh, you think this game is still gonna be around in 5 years?
No way.
Yeah, I mean the heal 5% HP. At first, I thought that was a little counterintuitive because I was thinking like,
right?
Doesn't that heal you like? I was thinking like if it heals you back to 100% HP, doesn't that just like disable it? But I guess I thought about it for a second, but it's just like, okay, if you're at 100% life, that's also good because you probably have some kind of 100% HP effect. So. I don't think there's any downsides to healing. Yeah,
I do like it. I mean, a little bit of heal is nice if you are not really running if you're not running like a healer composition.
Yeah, definitely.
Like no healer pick, I think it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, rush players.
But at the same time, it could hurt you, like you said, because it's gonna put you above 80% sometimes.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. Frontier, do you use Noemi at all?
I don't have her. I'm waiting for the next month's Destiny banner.
I got Noemi off banner twice. She's spooking.
Wow.
Me. And you know what?
She spooks you.
Yeah, she spooks me. And what annoys me about it is that Noemi is used for literally 0 bonds. She doesn't bond to anybody. So it's like when I got her, I was like, when I got her, I was like, I wanted to check like maybe I could skip a bond on someone. I was just like, oh wait, she bonds nobody.
Rip.
Yeah, I mean, Noemi's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of long-range mages now. You got T-Jess, you got, I guess, Young Jessica as well, and Noemi. Noemi is limited by her ammo, so getting an extra charge is definitely nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good upgrade, for sure.
Yeah, it's just a
not
very
game-changing. Yeah.
So, next we got Melania, or Melania, I guess. This staff is actually really nice, I think. Melania gets a 1-block aura, which says everybody is immune to Curse of Wounding and Heal Block. So she basically prevents both the effects that would stop you from being healed. My first thought on this is that Melania is going to be very, very annoying in AI Arena, because everybody's just going to put the plus sign formation with Melania in the middle and Juggler next to her. And like I guess you can surround them with like freaking arena or something, and it's just it sounds really, really annoying. But aside from that, like in Apex, like or any kind of PvP, or even sometimes even in PvE, the problem with Melania for me was always that her talent is so hard to activate. She herself has to be attacked, which most players are not going to do. And in PvE, like sometimes it's hard to line it up so that Melania is the one taking all the hits, so that your tank can get the pseudo like wheeler talent from Melania's talent. Melania herself is actually a very weak healer. She only has heal, the basic heal, and that's it. That's all she has.
Yeah, I don't think she's like a full-time healer. She does like she has gospel and
she has gospel.
Weird weird like guard range skill.
Yeah, she has the
Guard
guard appointing skill, which I think might have some like interesting applications even in Apex because there's so many dispel characters now. They dispel your guard and you can just use Melania to put it back up.
Nice. Okay.
But that can get dispelled too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. It's just that I think it's hard to put her in unless she gets like a crazy 3C.
Yeah, I feel like Melania is one of those characters where it's like, feels like she's right on that edge of being good, but it's like she's missing some kind of key piece to making her really good. I think Maciel would probably be a good start.
Yeah.
And I mean, even this command I feel like is kind of similar, where the effect itself feels really strong, but it's only one block around here.
Yeah, it's super hard. Yeah, I mean her talent is not very good, right? Because you just gotta avoid hitting Melania, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a very PvE designed talent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Melania is really great in like glory challenges and stuff because you can't bring Tiaras into those challenges, but you can bring Melania. She fills a similar function.
Okay, noted.
Yeah, maybe 3C can make her viable though.
Yeah, that's really what I'm looking to, like hoping that Melania gets a 3 cost. Like hopefully she gets like some kind of powerful heal as her 3 cost because that's really what she's missing.
Right.
You know, she doesn't like. Well, I mean, I already said like she only has the one basic heal, and she needs some kind of strong heal, like especially maybe like an AOE heal to really like balance out her kit here.
Yep, she definitely needs something. Not having mass heal is bad. Although I don't think 3C is gonna be a mass heal. Maybe like it could have like mass heal like a function and bunch of different things.
I think it might be like her 3 cost might be something that relates to her talent somehow. So maybe it'll be another guard skill, but maybe hopefully what I'm really hoping is that maybe it'll have a passive portion because they give so many 3 cost skills with passives nowadays, and I'm hoping the passive portion expands the usage of her talent so that it can activate easier. Because it's like you said, it basically never activates in Apex. Nobody's gonna attack Melania.
Right. Yeah. Although nobody's gonna use her in Apex anyway.
Hey, I mean, she's the what is it, 4th gospel character or whatever. So third gospel.
Yeah, gospel's always nice.
Yeah, gospel's always OP. So.
Well, I mean, they do give us a lot of good SR healers, so maybe 3C will change things.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I think about Iris's 3 costs and Close's 3 costs, both of them were really good, actually. So, it seems like healers tend to be a little bit more immune to the curse of the bad SR 3 cost.
Right. So, I mean, if you look at like Apex, like Season 1, Chloe and Iris were in everybody's boxes back then. Yeah. And Iris stayed for a long time as well. Yeah. Because the teleport's really nice.
I mean, you still see Iris around occasionally.
Yeah. People still use her in like a rush boxes.
Yeah. And Close is going to be making a comeback with her 3 cost. It's a pretty good 3 cost. Okay. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about they're rerunning the roguelike mode on the Chinese server, which I think
nice.
A lot of people are happy about. I will be happy to hear that. This is probably one of the most popular PvE modes they ever added. I think a lot of people had fun playing it. So this time, it's largely the same mode. They have upped the difficulty significantly, and I think that was one of the complaints people had last time, was that it was a little bit too easy. It was easy to kind of cheese the mode.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably still cheese it.
Yeah, just AoEs everywhere.
So in terms of the voyages, the thing that changed the most this time is that there's only 15 levels this time, but they actually created 2 sets of levels, so it's 2 sets of 15 levels. So in total, you get more than last time you ran. It's just that there are 2 separate voyages, and the second set of levels is significantly harder. You have to start your party over from scratch in the second set of levels, by the way. You get less characters to work with, the enemies level up faster, and you are significantly limited in the amount of times you can revive your characters and reset the mode. You only get 1 revive per, floor, You don't get that many resets either. You can buy more, but that costs crystals. So you definitely need to be a lot more careful about how you pick and choose your skills and stuff. It's pretty challenging. And I also think it's a good way to do this. Because the first set of levels is a little bit harder than last time, I think. But it's still pretty easy overall. But that's fine, because you use that to introduce any newcomers to the mode, and then the second set of levels is the hard one. They also added one new mechanic, which is like a party skill or party passive, I guess. So there's a page of like party skills where it's like you can equip up to 3 of them, and they include things like if you have X number of this class unit on your team, everybody's stats go up. So like, for example, right now, like the team I'm using in the roguelike mode has 4 holy units, and I used this party skill that says when you have 40 holy units, everybody's stats increase by 35%. And I think it's I don't know how necessary it is because I haven't gotten to the end yet, but I'm guessing they balanced the mode around you getting all these extra stats this time.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess you have to think a little bit more about your team comp this time as you go along, and maybe and get some of these party bonuses. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same mode, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think PvE content, it just depends on how much time development team spends on it for it to be like very fun. So I mean, the changes are good.
You say that, but it's like I actually think they probably spent quite a bit of time on the chess mode, auto chess mode.
Yeah, they definitely did.
And the auto chess mode is probably one of the most divisive modes they've ever added to the game.
What is PvP though?
Oh well, yeah.
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 But I mean, even if it was PvE, I think people would still have a lot of the same complaints about it, because sometimes it's very frustrating to see the unit just do things that just like make your brain hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I did like the Ancient Beckoning when it first came out.
Yeah,
it's just that I just don't like any repeat content.
I mean, I still think Ancient Beckoning is probably the best like single piece of content they added to the game. I mean, it was annoying to having to do it over and over, but I like that it was 5 really well designed boss fights that you had to figure out.
Yeah. It was definitely fun the first time. Definitely wanted to like keep doing it to get better score. Like, it's just, I mean, good thing they just kept the scores now. But... Yeah,
I definitely think that if they had not added that, it probably would have killed the game. I mean, you and I are both, I wouldn't consider either one of us casual players. And even the most hardcore players for this game were pretty frustrated with how time-consuming Ancient Beckoning was. And the problem, of course, is when you force players to do it for the 20th time, it gets really stale. But I still hope in the future they'll come up with something similar to Ancient Beckoning. In the sense that I would like another set of challenging boss fights or something like that. I still sort of prefer preset challenges like Ancient Beckoning, rather than the sort of randomized content, where the devs just tell you, oh, here are the rules to this, and you figure it out.
Right.
And roguelike mode to some degree is like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if they release like a new boss every month, I'll be down for that. I mean, personally, I don't like PvE that much, but I'll be down.
I mean, they do have the challenge boss fights. You know, we get challenge fights once a month.
Right. We do get challenge fights,
Yeah, and those are usually like boss fights, but a lot of times they're just annoying. Like the recent one where Ainz was just has like a 50% chance to reduce your range by 1 every time you attack him. It's just like it's just coin flipping over and over. You know, what was cool about the Ancient Beckoning fights is that you could actually like solve them. You know, it was like oh, there's this mechanic, I can handle it this way. You know, I mean that's true for the challenge fights as well, but you know, it's just don't do these 50% activation things. Like that pisses people off. Okay, so I guess another thing we can talk about is they are running an equip banner on the Chinese server. And this is different from previous equip banners because for the first time they are running an equip banner that is using existing equipment rather than using it to introduce 4 new pieces of equipment. So they are running a banner with the Mimer's Hammer, the Heal Block Helm, Juggler Plushie, and the Swordsmith Medal. So I know the first reaction everybody has to that is that, oh my god, it's Swordsmith Medal! Yes, that is true, but the other 3 items is like, I mean, Mimer's Hammer and Juggler Plushie are good, but I actually don't think they are worth pulling on this banner for. And even Swordsmith Medal, like, even if you want a bunch of Swordsmith Medals, it's like, I mean, if you're a whale, like, sure, you can try to get a bunch of get a bunch of bracers here or whatever, but it's like, if you're a budget player, like, going for one specific equipment on these banners is just asking for pain.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would even say, like, Swordsmith Medal has lost some of its value. I still think it's probably the best accessory, like, in like isolation, like as a single piece of equipment. But right now a lot of tanks are using Blood Pack now just because of how annoying Elwyn is and all these heal block units and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only for tanks though. I mean, if you get to a way level,
it's still the best like accessory for like for Yusuke, one of the best ones for Rin, very good for Wataru.
Yeah, I think it's a good option. Like, people who missed it, maybe they could pull on it. Personally, I wish I had one more Juggler plush. I only had one.
Yeah, I still only have one, but that's all I really need.
Mimer's very optional weapon. I don't think it's that good. It was pretty good on Yusuke, but I think that's about it. Some people use it on Rain.
Yeah.
I've seen it be used on Elwyn.
I guess
the person didn't have the sword.
I can see that. Like, I can see that working on Elwyn because, well, actually, like, Cav Elwyn can't use it, so...
Yeah, Cav Elwyn cannot use hammers.
Yeah.
Right?
But, I mean, he does have the glorious, his glorious charge or whatever skill does preserve buffs. So, if you're still using an infantry Elwyn, you can combine that with his charge skill, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's a good option. I also like the fact that they're not adding new equipment, because that's like more things to pull, and sometimes power creep, so...
I mean, just a month before this, they added those 4 pieces of equipment. Like, if anybody was planning on pulling an equipment banner, I would pull on the one on the month before this, not this one, because the one on the month, the one from the month before, that one was crazy. First off, you could get a equipment of your choice if you pulled 150 times or something like that.
That one's really nice.
Yeah, and all 4 pieces were really good. Like, especially the armor. The armor was crazy. The
armor's very good.
The sword is really good. The helm has some uses, and the calf killer accessory is also crazy. Like, that was nice. All 4 pieces were crazy. So, like, if anybody was gonna save for the equipment banner in the future, I think it should be that one.
Yeah, it's nice to have a rerun so people can save, or people need it, they pull, right? So,
I mean, it's definitely nice because especially for like players who joined later. If they weren't able to pull on the Bracer emblem when it first came out, or even a Juggler plush when it came out, they've never been available for free. They very rarely drop from Timeless Trial or any other SSR accessory bag. So, if you really, really need them, then yes, like, definitely, pull here, get your blushy, get your medal. But otherwise, like, this is a Wales only banner, I think.
Yeah.
But whales probably have all of them anyway. So.
Yeah, the whales only.
hey, you do have those whales that like 10 million summons on the Bracer banner and got a bunch of the stupid clothesline pulls.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think I knew a couple that quit.
Yeah. I heard that some people quit because of that.
Yeah.
R.I.P. in peace.
RIP.
So they're adding the second Wikigrisser 5 Time Rift. And they're also adding some Wikigrisser 5 music to the game, so people can look forward to that. I mean, they recently added the Wikigrisser 4 music on Global, and I know a lot of people enjoyed that, so look forward to more music when this patch comes along. And the second Wikigrisser 5 Time Rift is most noteworthy because there is a free Fury of Tyr in one of them.
Yeah, that's always nice.
My guild leader is really salty because he's like, I think he has like 1 tier, and he's and he's very sad that he doesn't get more. Well, here you go.
Yes.
Your
Some items just never drop. Like,
Yeah.
I still don't have Balance Blade.
Yeah, it's the good items never drop. I guess one last thing we can mention is that they're actually changing the side box in the Apex arena. So it used to be 6, and they're changing it to 9 characters. I don't know if that will change anything for budget players like myself, because it's kind of hard to... My resources are better spent powering up the characters I use more. But I think for maybe dolphins or whales, this might be a very meaningful change. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good change. But I do think 6 is enough.
I have one question.
Okay.
I haven't used Apex in a long time. What the heck is a side box?
Okay, so during playoffs, because you play 3 matches in a row, there's like a side box where of some characters you're not using in your box, but between matches you can swap characters out with the side box.
Ah, okay. So you don't give your opponent like an advantage of like you can see like what they're gonna use and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched the Apex matches, you've probably seen this. Like, you know, you'll see like the characters getting subbed out and subbed in.
I've never seen. I just see like the battles themselves. I don't watch
okay.
the preparation
Okay, yeah,
part.
the pick. If you ever watch pick ban, like you'll notice like during playoffs, there's a like in the second and third matches, oftentimes like the players will switch out the characters.
Okay, that's cool.
My first impression is that 6 allowed you to maybe switch up your strategy a little bit, but 9 allows you to switch almost your entire box.
Yeah, it does. But another thing is, can you really juggle those different type of boxes? So changing 9 is a complete different box.
You definitely have to plan ahead a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know many players that can play like super different styles. Most people just stick to one thing. I mean, a lot of people stick to what they learned back in season 1. They still play it that way, you know. So,
yeah.
But it definitely helps a lot if you could completely change from like a tank push to like a rush box right away. And I've seen that a couple times in playoffs, so it's definitely good for whales for sure.
Yeah.
I think budget players can also get up to 24 units, I guess, 15 plus 9.
I mean, just because they're 9 slots doesn't mean you have to fill it.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you can just swap out 1 or 2 units if you need to. That's usually what I do. So yeah, I think it's fine. People that want to take advantage of it, they can.
I think it's definitely going to be interesting if we see like anybody just actually doing what we said, like swapping out almost their entire box between matches.
For sure. Especially for whales, like they have so many units that they've been asking for bigger box as well for like the Apex.
Oh god.
Increase the box size. It's not a bad change. At least it increased the box limit.
I mean, a bigger box would completely change the meta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the current hand pick system, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to change it.
Maybe a new mode, like if you really wanted to create a mode where you have to use more characters.
Bring in like you can have up to 6 units or something.
Yeah. I could see like an interesting new mode, like some kind of crazy boss battle with your guild or something, where you have to use tons and tons of units or something.
One thing I really wanted though was like a team PvP. Would be nice, like 2v2 or something. You each get to pick like 3 units.
Ah, okay, so 2 players. Okay, two versus 2
2v2
players.
PvP. Yeah.
That's an interesting concept. Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe that's all they added for this patch. So Straw, do you have any final thoughts here?
Overall, I think they're good. Interesting units, good upgrades, new mode coming out. Yeah, overall it's pretty nice.
All right, any thoughts, Frontier?
Same thing. I'm looking forward to new stuff. I'm terrified of Bernhardt now. Thanks.
Yeah, Empire coming back in style. I mean, I would say Empire was probably the dominant faction in Season 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Empire was very strong with Bern and like Leonhard.
Yeah.
There's
Ellen popping up.
Yeah, Bern kind of died down during like Season 2-ish. But he was very scary. I mean, people overlook his talent too, like the stat reduction.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Straw.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, you have anything you want to say to our audience before we sign off here?
Not much.
Alright, well, everyone, Summit Der Wikigrisser Season 5 is underway right now. Maybe if you're interested, you can catch some of the games being posted on several different channels. It's always been a very cool community-based tournament organized by Straw, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of a lot of people in the community.
It is going to be the last season that I'm going to host.
Okay. I imagine it's been pretty time-consuming.
Yeah, it's pretty time-consuming, so yeah. We had a good run, though. It's been going on for a year now, so...
Alright.
Cool.
Good times. Alright, thanks for joining us again, Straw.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep, thanks.
See y'all later.
See ya, bye.
Bye-bye.